Well, we've gotten to the next segment, which is something that you guys brought up for me and you guys had me cover, which was Adobe. This is something that was actually previously requested, and I called it. I said, we are going to get action on this at a national level. And we got it. We got it here. And I did not expect it to come from the US DOJ. Now, I wish the US DOJ would do stuff like suing over these DEI companies, but I will take the Adobe complaint. Now, we're going to skim some of it. We're not going to do it. And ironically, we're reading the Adobe lawsuit using an Adobe product. This is like the Adobe Reader plugin. So it's actually kind of hilarious that we're reviewing the Adobe with Adobe, right? But the US DOJ, the Civil Protection Division, has filed a lawsuit, the United States of America versus Adobe. How wrecked can you get? This is absolutely nuts. F around and find out, bro. F around and find out. So what do they got here? The U.S., United States of America, acting on referral of the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Like I said, they're going to get regulatory oversight, and this is the body that always does the regulatory oversight. So you got to understand, like, this is going to happen. Adobe is one of the largest software companies that make applications such as Acrobat, Photoshop, and Illustrator. They offer subscription plans to those and dozens of products on Adobe.com. For years, Adobe has harmed customers by enrolling them in its default, most lucrative subscription plan without clearly disclosing important plan details. Guys, this is exactly what I said. This is precisely what I said. They didn't disclose anything. And now they're being fucking wrecked for it. They failed to disclose by signing up for its annual paid monthly subscription. They're agreeing to a year-long commitment with a hefty early termination fee. And they only disclose the ETF when subscribers attempt to cancel, turning the stealth ETF into a powerful retention tool by trapping customers in subscriptions they no longer want. Bro, they fucking got this. Is dead to rights. They're so screwed. During enrollment, they hide material terms. This is the word here, material, right? Material. That means substantial. That means terms that matter, not bullshit terms, not other crap. This is important terms in fine print and behind optional text boxes and hyperlinks. This is what I'm saying, guys. A lot of these companies are going to get in trouble for trying to hide bullshit in their TOS. So remember, when I go through these TOS and I say, hey, they're really trying to hide this, or this is really buried, or this is something they don't really talk about, this is going to come up. This is going to come up in these lawsuits, and it's going to come up again and again. Some points are redacted because it's the U.S. government. So there's probably certain stuff that they consider classified or confidential or whatever else. So they redacted it in their complaint, right? The government. It redacted it. You'll see it when it goes to trial and when it comes out, but for now it's redacted, right? So Adobe then deters cancellations by employing an onerous and complicated cancellation process. As part of this convoluted process, Adobe ambushes subscribers with the previously obscured ETF when they attempt to cancel. Through that, they've violated specific laws. So what this probably is, guys, 4 and 5 are probably talking about witnesses that know about that, or CIs, confidential informants, right? That's probably what's in here. They probably have facts that are part of that information that's blocked out. So they're suing in federal court. They're going to sue in the San Jose division. So they're taking it to Cali, which has strong consumer protections because Adobe has its principal place of business there. But beyond that, they're probably, it's not looking good there. So this is subject to the FTC Act. They're suing under the FTC Act, as well as under the Restore Online Shoppers Confidence Act, or ROSCA. Adobe is a defendant. One of the people that is being sued as well is Maninder Swani, the Senior Vice President of Digital To Go Marketing. So he's under suit, as well as David Wadhwani, who's the director, who's the president of digital media business at Adobe, right? And now you've got the Restore Online Confidence Act. So what does that do? It says that consumer confidence is important to the growth of online commerce. To continue its development as a marketplace, the internet must provide consumers with clear and accurate information and give sellers the opportunity to compete with others for a consumer business. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. Internet companies have gotten away with this bullshit for a while, but they're not going to get away with it forever. Eventually, they are going to be regulated and they will be pushed. Just because in-person brick and mortar has been the target for decades and decades and decades doesn't mean that these internet companies are going to get away with what they're doing forever. And what they call this is generally prohibited charging customers for goods through a negative option feature, which is unless the seller clearly and conspicuously discloses all material terms and obtains their express consent before making the charge and provides simple mechanisms to stop recurring charges. A negative option feature is an offer or agreement to sell or provide any good or service under which the customer's silence or failure to take affirmative action to reject goods or services or cancel the agreement is interpreted as acceptance of the offer. So it's an unfair and deceptive practice or act affirming commerce. So this is the statute that they're going to say, hey, it's invalid under this particular business model, which is a subscription model. So they go through here, the subscription model, and their subscription model made them $7.71 billion in 2019. And then 2023, $14.22 billion of their $19 billion. This is their cash cow. This is their cash cow. You see why they get so crazy about it. This is making over 2/3 of their revenue. I don't math so good, but this is, I mean, that's probably more than that. Calculator this real quick. Let me calculate this real quick. It's your boy calculator. So this thing was, so let's see, 14.22 divided by, let's see what we got here. 73%, 73.2%. Almost 75% of the revenue, almost 75%. Bro, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And that's because they are charging automatically monthly. If they cancel before the end of the year, it's subject to the ETF, and they calculate the ETF as 50% of any remaining contract obligation. That is nuts. And if you cancel before the end of the year, you lose service at the end of the month during which you cancel. So you're not even getting what you're paying for as part of the ETF. You should, if you're going to pay an ETF, you should get service for the rest of the year. Consumers subscribe to Adobe products by using a computer or smart device to enroll. Well, we all know that. I'm not going to explain how you buy Adobe. That's kind of obvious, right? So here's the unlawful flow. So on the plan selection page here, here's how you select it. Oh, look, we're going to pay $54.99. Fees apply if you cancel after 40 days. Right? Let me tell you about the fees. So they tell you, okay, oh, it's $54 a month. Oh, okay. All right, that's fine. Oh, we're gonna get a full plan here, right? Fees apply. When you navigate down, right, it says if you cancel after 14 days, your service will continue until the end of the month's billing period, and you will be charged an early termination fee. Right? They are not given concrete information about the amount of the ETF. The issue is when you hover over, you are not told how much you're going to be charged and how ridiculous this charge is. It does not state anywhere that they require a 1-year commitment. Where does it say that here? Where does it say you are committed for 1 year? Not even in the tooltip. It doesn't say anywhere that you're committed for 1 year. They just make that shit up. It does not disclose at all the fee that would be charged for early cancellation. So that goes back to here, the flow. When you're purchasing it, here's the purchase page. Nothing is disclosed to you. Nothing is disclosed to you. All it says is, oh, it's going to automatically renew, but it doesn't talk about that at all. And look at it. No annual commitment required after the first year. Well, does that implies there's an annual commitment the first year, but it doesn't tell you that there's an annual commitment the first year, right? See, this says right here, cancel, no annual commitment required after the first year. It implies it, but it doesn't tell you what it is. It doesn't tell you the scope of that at all. There's no explicit link to the charge. That violates the statute, according to the DOJ. Right. And look, I have some pretty fair confidence in this because the DOJ would not bring this type of complaint, would not make this assertion unless that's how the statute worked. Adobe defendants know about profit and consumer confusion regarding the APM. So their enrollment has generated frequent complaints to the BBB, Better Business Bureau. Guys, this is why I say you need to complain. You need to submit this because when there is proof, like for example, complaints to the BBB, that can be used in court against these companies. So you need to submit complaints against these companies when they're pulling bullshit. This is why it matters. This is why these complaints matter and why you should be submitting these complaints also through their own community support web pages and on social media. All of this is being used as evidence against them. That's why you need to do all of it. No, because some people say people don't do that already. No, actually they don't because they think it doesn't matter. A lot of people do not write a complaint because they're like, oh, I just give up. No, don't give up. Fight back. Customers are confused about the terms of the APM and the one-year commitment. So they've got proof of that. Okay, so this is all evidence of his personal supervision. So there's probably somebody inside the company that like a CI, confidential informant, and they're protecting them there. So these sections are kind of covered in terms of the personal involvement of the two executives. So we'll skip past those. But here you go. Adobe's unlawful cancellation practices. So they generally provide them with two primary options to cancel: online self-cancellation and contacting customer service. It does not automatically cancel. They should provide an option where it automatically cancels unless you affirmatively act to keep it in place. That's a problem. Self-cancellation. The flow there has a lot of requirements, right? There's no way to dispute the charge using a self-cancellation flow. So there's no way to dispute the ETF charge, the early termination fund. You cannot dispute it. You cannot challenge it. You can't speak to somebody if you use self-cancel. The only way you can do it is by calling customer service. Well, if you call customer service, you're still impeded, right? Subscribers have their calls or chats dropped or disconnected. Subscribers have transferred to one or more Adobe reps during their call or chat, forcing them to encounter delays, re-explain themselves, and request it. Yes, and this is what these companies do. They know that's what you have to do. That's why these subscriptions can be really, really a pain in the ass. Many subscribers who insist on canceling encounter resistance and delay from the reps. Many subscribers having to cancel by phone have been subjected to time-consuming and burdensome process, right? They provide no refunds or partial refunds to some subscribers who incur charges after an attempted unsuccessful cancellation. So the cancellation process itself is problematic. They know there's problems with that. They're not willing to do all of that. And beyond that, they know the regulation. So these people have attorneys, just like the companies I represent. They have attorneys that are in-house. They have extensive legal resources, including in-house and outside counsel. I worked as compliance counsel. I knew about this shit. I know about ROSCA, right? The fact that they don't know about that, they have no excuse. They have zero excuse. Adobe and its executives were aware of significant government and regulatory scrutiny regarding this process, including the civil investigation demand the FTC issued to Adobe in 2022. So they were well aware of this. They've nevertheless persisted until the present day, which just shows how obstinate they are. So failure to clearly and conspicuously disclose material terms, that's a violation of ROSCA. That's count one. So this is the one count against everybody, both the company and the individuals. Count two, failure to obtain expressed informed consent. You need to have expressed informed consent, particularly before charging your credit card, bank card, or other financial account. Guys, this is probably something that other companies are doing. that other companies are doing. So this is something I want to see other companies get destroyed over. Count 3, failure to provide simple cancellation. Something they should do, but they're not doing it, and that's a violation of the statute. And of course, the fact this is ongoing conduct, they knew about it, and they're continuing to do it. So they're asking the court to stop all of this, to halt these violations, to issue injunctions, to stop them from doing this, and to address the injuries, award civil penalties, right? And find that they violated these statutes. The thing that might happen right here is a temporary injunction. I would love to see a temporary injunction stopping the ETF, the early termination fee, while this is pending. That would be a big thing. And if that comes down the pike, I will indeed cover that.